The Secret of the Hidden Scrolls, Book 2, Race for the Ark, Chapter 3, Down in the Valley. Peter let go of Mary's hand and looked around. They were in the middle of woods. The sun shone through the branches and birds sang. "At least it's not raining," said Peter. "Where are we?" "It's hard to tell." Mary looked at the tall trees all around them. "These woods could be anywhere." Peter pointed over her shoulder. "Let's go that way." "No," said Mary. "This way." Peter rolled his eyes. "Whatever. Let's just start moving. I'm getting hungry." "Check the bag," said Mary. "Maybe Great Uncle Solomon packed some food." Peter unzipped the bag and looked inside. He pulled out a flashlight and a compass. "Oh, give me the compass," said Mary. "It will help keep us from getting lost." Next, Peter pulled out a box of matches. Who would give matches to a couple of kids? Then he pulled out a hatchet. "Be careful." Mary gave Peter that look again. Peter rolled his eyes and carefully laid the hatchet on the ground. He pulled out a small bag with a rope hanging out. He read the words on the bag: "Pop-up tent, pull the rope, and let your adventure begin." He grabbed the rope. "Wait," said Mary. "We might need that later. Is there anything else?" Peter pulled out a canteen. "Water!" He opened it. Empty. Finally, he pulled out Great Uncle Solomon's adventure journal. "That's all. There's nothing to eat. We have to remember to bring food next time." He shoved everything back in the bag, including the scroll. Mary held up the compass. "Let's go north." Peter led the way as they walked over the fallen branches and rocks. About an hour later, they came to the edge of the woods. Peter stared down a steep hill into the valley. A tall rock wall wrapped around a city filled with small houses and tiny gardens. A towering stone building shaped like a pyramid sat right in the center of the city. "Civilization!" shouted Peter. "Maybe we can find out where we are," said Mary. Peter rubbed his belly. "Maybe we can find some food." "Woof!" Hank barked and ran down into the valley. Peter and Mary followed. At the bottom of the hill, Peter pointed at an iron gate. He opened it and followed Mary down a wide dirt road. The road was lined with shops that were filled with baskets, blankets, and jewelry, but Peter didn't see any food. He bumped into a tall, bearded man wearing a brown robe with a rope tied around his big, bouncy belly. "Get out of the way," grunted the man. He kicked dirt on Hank and pushed his way past Peter and Mary. "Sorry," said Peter. He brushed the dirt off Hank. Peter crowded the street. Everyone pushed and shoved and gave each other mean looks. There were no hellos, no handshakes, and no smiles. "We still need to find food," said Peter. Mary agreed with him for once. She and Hank followed Peter as he pushed his way through the smelly, cranky crowd. Nobody looked happy. Peter thought they must be hungry too. Where was the food? Suddenly he smelled something. It wasn't a familiar smell like hot dogs or pizza, but he was pretty sure it was food. Peter let his nose lead him to a large outdoor food shop. There he found baskets full of fresh bread. Mary found tables covered with bananas, oranges, and apples, and Hank found a shelf piled high with cheese. Peter's mouth watered. His stomach rumbled. "What would you like to eat?" asked a lady wearing a purple robe and a long golden necklace. "I want 2 of everything," said Peter. "Give me your coins and you can have whatever you want," she said. "We don't have any coins," said Mary. "No coins, no food." The lady put her nose in the air and turned to walk away. "But we're hungry," said Peter. "I don't care," she said. "How do we get coins?" said Mary. "It's easy," she said. "You just lie, cheat, and steal like all the other kids." "But that's wrong," said Mary. "That's not what the Dark Ruler told us." The lady in purple pointed to the tall pyramid building. Steps led up the side to the top, where a large statue of a snake wrapped around a throne. "The Dark Ruler said we can do anything we want." Peter shook his head. "We can't do those things." "Well, I guess you'll go hungry then." She pulled some coins out of a pouch around her waist and started to count. Peter lifted his chin. "I'm not worried. God will help us." The lady stopped counting and leaned close to Peter. "Did you say God?" "Yes," said Peter. "Let me give you a little warning." The lady looked around and then whispered, "Never, never say the word God around here." "Why not?" whispered Peter. "The Dark Ruler only has one rule." She held up a finger. "You are not allowed to talk about God, or else." Mary scooted closer. "Or else what?" "Or else you will be locked in the dungeon beneath the Temple of the Snake." She pointed to the pyramid again. "Now leave before we all get in trouble." "Grrr! Stop it, Hank," said Peter. Mary gasped. "That's not Hank." Peter turned around and saw the snarling fangs of a wolf.